Yesterday I sat by myself and watched a film called Radio. It's fairly old, I think it's like 2003 it was made, but it was based on a true story that was like in the 1970s, maybe 1980s, I'm not 100% sure. But it's about basically a mentally challenged person that kind of like takes interesting into sports. Uh, American football at first, and basically he watches these people, play ball. And when the coach basically comes back, he's left on for a bit. He's come back. They have tied up this mentally challenged person and locked him in a cupboard. Really quite mean. Really, really mean. And the coach lets them go. He punishes the kids, and over the course of the film, he basically integrates this guy or this kid into the team. Even though he's not playing, he's a part of the team. He's there to motivate. He helps them with little jobs and here and there. And you think, oh great, the kids have learned their lesson, right? They've done a really messed up thing. They've targeted something they didn't understand, right? And it's understandable in a really messed up way. What they did was really bad, but they've learned from their mistakes. And you go, all right, great. That's amazing that they've learned their lesson and that they know what they've done was completely wrong. And you go through the film and you're thinking, okay, everything is going smooth and it's going all right, but there's this one kid and he's not really letting it go. You can see that he's kind of annoyed with this, they call him Radio, this mentally challenged guy. And he just seems a bit bitter and a bit angry. And not the whole team. Before it was about 9 of them. But the next time, there's about 3 of them. And he's been fully integrated into the team. He's there pretty much every day. He's learning with them and helping them out. And they play another very mean prank. They tell him that he needs to go into the changing room of the ladies. And he walks in there and he gets all frightened and he runs off, and it's not good at all. And it's really at that point for me where I was like, you cunt. You're a proper dickhead. Like, some people just can't be healed, or certain people can't just change for the better. And when I said that to myself, it was very brief, but I thought, no, that's not right. But I felt it. I felt, this guy is just being a dickhead after being a dickhead for no reason, just one after the other. He's never learning his lesson. At the end of the film, Radio has got a number, like a jersey, but he has no jersey to put it on, so he has the number for a jersey, but no jersey to put in. And the kid that was a dickhead has come up to him, he's now learned his lesson, and he gives him a jersey to say, put it on, put your number on there. And Radio just goes and he gives him a hug, and it is really, really beautiful, because the kid that's been a dickhead this whole time, he gives him, a hug back, and he tells him thank you. And it really goes to show that someone with such innocence can be taken advantage of. But they can also have so much power to change people just by not turning the other cheek. But obviously, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. Most of the time he doesn't really speak. I don't really know what I'm taking from this. Honestly, I feel like this is a bit scattered. But I think if the kid that was being a dickhead never had Radio in his life, he would have went on to be a not so nice person. And I think that's why he says thank you to him. to you know, when the second time when they coerced him into these changing rooms, kinda, the coach was like, "Well, who told you to go in there?" And he didn't rat him out. He didn't say nothing. He didn't. He didn't rat him out. He just kind of turned the other cheek, I guess. But every time he did it, and I think this kid that was, seen as quite evil, quite nasty, actually turns out he gets a lot of it from his father, and he sticks up to his father and says thank you to radio. And at that point in time, I think you just got to look at that and tip your fedora to radio and the kid that was being a cunt, because radio made a change in someone that was probably not going to change if not had the experiences of radio. And that kid changed for the better, even though his dad was a cunt, and that's where he was inheriting it from. And that's a very hard thing to get over. So it's very impressive when someone does. Radio. Yeah, it's a very good film. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.